Welcome to Whiskey and SV. I'm your host Sam, and tonight we're going to be drinking some Michter's Barrel Strength Ryes. And we're joined by our esteemed friend, Ralph.
Thank you for having me again. Nice to be here.
Thanks for coming over, Ralph. All right, so we're trying to get a couple of episodes out of some newer whiskeys that we have been able to acquire. And the most recent one is the Michter's Barrel Strength Rye 2025. This one is the 25B, I believe.
Okay.
And I have an older version here, which is the I-22, so from L-22. So it's from 3 years ago.
3 years ago, yeah.
Yeah. So the goal is to do a blind and see how they compare and whether we like this year's release.
Yeah.
Do you have any experience with any of these, Ralph?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't. I really, really like the Michter's Toasted Rye.
Oh, toasted rye.
The Toasted Barrel Strength Rye. Yeah.
I was able to acquire one of those from, I think I overdid that one. I want to try.
Yeah, just give me a little bit. Wait, this is 2025. Yeah. So this will go in glass 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I actually, when we made our Kentucky trip a couple of years ago, we managed to get the barrels, the toasted rye from the distillery.
Yeah.
It came bundled with a regular rye.
Yeah, Michter's will do that.
Yeah. But it wasn't a bad price. It was like $180, I think.
Okay.
So not too expensive, given secondary. So I'm going to put
3
mine further out. You will put yours, and then when we take them, you take the lower two, I take the upper two.
Sounds good. All right.
As usual, we'll nose them first, give some notes, taste them, give some notes, make some predictions.
I'm not going to predict anything because I don't think I've ever had either. So for me, it's just whichever one is best. So this is about as unbiased as it's going to get for me.
Sounds good.
Ooh.
So Michter is known to put out bourbon lovers' ryes, right? So they're even though they're called rye whiskey, I think they're like barely legal ryes.
They're the Kentucky rye, barely legal rye. Yeah, definitely bourbon lovers like skewed.
51%. I don't know actually. They don't disclose mash bills, but I would imagine it has quite a lot of corn component to it.
Yeah,
it is quite sweet and
very sweet.
Yeah, this one actually has some vegetable notes as
well. There is.
So.
Yeah, I was going to say, at first you can kind of trick me. Oh, maybe it's a bourbon, but once you start digging in, you can pick up a little bit of the rye characteristics.
Yeah,
I like that first note. That's good.
This one is more vegetal, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely has like a bit of a dill note to it.
Yep.
Some. So if you're not a huge rye fan, and this was my first experience with Michter's Barrel Strength Ryes, and I remember one of the reasons why I didn't love it. And it put me off, like I didn't get like the last couple of years, I didn't really chase them, was because it was to me a little bit too vegetal, like too sort of dilly,
Okay. Did you open this recently?
I opened it last night, so
also last night.
Yeah,
there's a flat, I don't want to say cola, but there's something like there's a flat soda note on glass number 1.
I feel like it's harder to say that this is a rye than compared to this. This definitely has like a signature that makes it very, very obvious.
This is 100% a rye.
Yeah, it's like very obvious that it's a rye, Yeah, I feel like I'm like smelling dry herbs or something,
So this is how it'll go. If you're a rye lover, you'll like that. And if you're a bourbon lover, you'll like this.
Yeah, probably.
But we'll see.
Okay, yeah.
Let's try.
Should we try the first one?
Let's do it. Cheers.
Cheers.
Spicy on the front of the palate.
Yeah, very spicy.
Just the front. Very tannic.
That's enjoyable to me.
It's a good mouthfeel.
Yeah.
That just has a very pleasant mouthfeel.
Yeah.
Because it is a little spicy, but it's not the type that... Because I hate spice in whiskey. Like overly spicy whiskey I don't like. But that is just the right amount. That's not offensive to me.
Yeah, I would definitely say this is a bourbon lover's rye. It definitely has like a good mix of those sort of like corn notes, sweet corn notes that make it very palatable.
That's just good. That's just good whiskey.
Yeah. I could be convinced that this is like a finished bourbon.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's just good, yeah. It got a little bit of like, I'm getting a little bit of chocolate on this one too. Like I said, chocolate and coffee kind of go hand in hand for me. And I do get that in a lot of, we were talking about this earlier. Is this Brown-Forman? Probably not.
Right.
But I do get a little, it's just a hint. It's in the background. It's not in your face.
Yeah. This is, I would say this is not an obvious rye whiskey.
Mm-mm. Oh, second sip.
Yeah.
Yeah. Second sip, the rye comes through more. Yeah, it's the grassy, the herbal. Not.
I think once you go to this, you'll notice that how actually grassy and.
I'm
But I haven't
sure.
tried it, but I'm sure, given that I tried this last night, um, yeah,
Well, here's the thing. This one here, I haven't had this one yet.
yeah,
Just on second sip, the rye comes more on the second sip
sure,
with this one.
I agree. I
Yeah,
agree. Yeah,
it's not. It's again, it's not. It's not like super rye heavy though.
I would still say this is definitely a bourbon lover's rye.
Have
Yeah.
we acclimated or?
No, to me, this is still like I feel like I'm just smelling like dry herbs.
Yeah, I just got a hint of oregano.
That's extremely extremely herbal. I think you have to love rye, and maybe I'm not a huge rye lover, but it's not that I don't enjoy it. I like the complexity. I like that it's like boldly a rye rather than just like being half-assed about being a rye.
Yeah, yeah. This is rye.
This is actual rye whiskey.
Unmistakable. This is a rye, and where this you can probably maybe not like finish, but more like a high rye bourbon. You could probably convince me that this is,
Yeah,
But again, I'm not a big rye fan, but this is actually pretty pleasant,
it's good.
Because
It's good.
I've had some ryes that I just flat out hate it. I don't hate this.
It's not hate, but it's like but if someone tells me, do you want to pay 160, 170? I think, but when I got these, they were going for more like over 200.
Oh wow.
It's like COVID times.
Yeah, yeah. Don't pay that.
I think I paid close to. Well, I think I paid over 200 for that actually. Yeah, I think.
At the time, they were kind of like hard to get. They
Yeah,
were rare. Now
yeah,
you can find them if you look hard
yes,
enough.
that's true.
This one's good. I like this one a lot. Whichever one this is, it's sweet. It's very very sweet.
Yeah, this is definitely like extremely like herbal. Like you feel like you're just tasting um extracts from a bunch of herbs.
Hmm. It's spicier too.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that one is spicier.
Right.
But okay, but now though, third sip, it's a rye. But it's again not as aggressive as glass number two, but it is definitely a rye. Both enjoyable. If I had to pick glass number one, because again
For me too. I think
we lean more bourbon,
we lean more bourbon.
but for a rye, that's really good too.
Is there a rye that you like more than a bourbon, or you like just think really highly of?
That I like more than a bourbon.
Yeah.
I do really like. We both like this one a lot. The Jack Twice Barreled Rye.
Oh yes.
But that is so.
But that's also very bourbon lovers.
That's very bourbon lovers rye.
Yeah.
The Booker's 30, or not the 30. The Booker's Rye was really good.
Oh, that's too pretentious.
I know. But you asked me.
Yeah.
I don't own a bottle, but I have tried it, and it is really, really good.
Is there a bar we can try it at least semi-reasonable price?
No.
Okay.
But there is a bar.
Okay. Well.
Yeah. You want to go split an ounce? Or actually, I think we can get.
How much would it cost?
Oh, I don't know, but it would be sub like 300.
That's too expensive, dude. For an
Yeah.
ounce? That's ridiculous.
That's why it's pretentious.
Like if you said anything under 100, I'd be like, okay.
Oh, I gave you a sample. I really did like High West's double rye finish and sauterne barrels.
Okay.
That one was really, really good.
I haven't tried it, yes.
Yeah, I have a couple of those that I really enjoyed, but I haven't revisited in a while. But I remember really liking that one.
Okay.
Ryes do well for me when you finish it and stuff. When you put it in another barrel, whether it's toasted or or a wine barrel, that's when I think that's where it suits my palate more than a very traditional rye forward Monongahela. Like that's just not for me.
I see.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this though. So if you come across and you see that at a store for, let's say, the MSRP, which is around 120-ish, 120, 130-ish.
For glass one.
Yeah. Would you pick it up?
Yeah. If I don't have one, yeah.
You would?
Mm-hmm. It's a good,
given everything we've discussed, how we're going to be more picky with what we buy and whatever and everything,
Well, here's the thing. Like having like your favorite bottle backed up multiple times is great and all, but at the same time, you do want a little bit of variety and diversity, right? And there aren't many ryes that I love, or at least none that I really, well, the ones that I have I love, but not many of them. So I don't have this. So
let me ask you this though. Would you rather have this or the 10-year-old Michter's rye? Because That's gonna be obviously it's more expensive, but not that much more expensive. You know, it's like
Mm.
you can get one on secondary for 250. Interestingly, the rye is actually more expensive than the bourbon. But
Retail.
yes, the retail.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but in secondary is the opposite, obviously.
Hmm.
But so let's say if you can get both at retail, let's say this is 120, the rye is 180, right? The 10-year-old rye is 180. Would you go for this or the 10-year-old rye?
I haven't had the 10 in a while,
Okay.
but I don't know. I actually don't know.
Can we do a bonus pour?
Yeah, let's do it. We should have probably added that in here because
I think it's there's no point doing a blind with it because
is it that obvious?
it's very obvious. It's like it's much lower proof.
Is it the one above me?
Yeah,
I'll grab it. It's lower proof, so
it's extremely lower proof. Right?
it's a
So
lower
like,
proof. So maybe the
it's
proof
almost like 15 percentage points less.
it's 46.4. So what is that? 92.8.
Yeah, it's like way lower proof. These are like 110, like 19, 110.
19, 111. I think yeah, was
Yeah.
109.
Yeah.
You think the one we like is this one?
Yeah. We should probably actually quickly do a reveal. Let's see. So this is a number 2.
Which would be
Yeah. So
No.
this is the one. Yeah, number 2 is that one.
oh
right?
yeah, the old yes, the new one.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine is number 4. Yeah. Yeah.
We like this one more, right?
We like that one, yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
heard that one was good.
Yeah, I think it's a bourbon lover's rye. You know, the old one, one of the reasons why I didn't enjoy it as much was because it was
Rye heavy. That's good.
Rye heavy, yeah.
Let me actually give you some because we have stuff to do today, Sam.
Okay, sure. It's fine.
God, you heathen. Good Lord.
All right.
All right. So clearly we know how we feel about these.
Yeah. I think you'll enjoy this quite a bit. I think you'll find this much, much more complex from what I remember. Oh my God, it's not comparable, dude. It's like it smells like a dusty.
You just can't cheat time. That's the thing.
And also they call it 10-year. I don't think it's 10-year. I think it's more than 10 years. It's
You know
more
what
than 10
though?
years.
For me, I don't know about you. It is so not obvious to get age in rye. Obviously, this is better, but if you give me like a 15-year-old
It
rye,
smells like a dusty.
it does. It does.
And it is a bourbon lover's rye again. It's like I'm not getting like massive like dill or crazy herbal. I can tell it's a rye, but
Do you like the toasted rye barrel strength?
yes,
This
but
is-
I've only had it a couple of times.
So apparently, maybe cut this out, but apparently 2017 was like special. And I think I'm going to try to get a bottle.
Yeah, you told me this.
Yes, apparently 2017 was like
Okay.
magic. And I do like the 23 I liked a
Mhm.
lot. I would argue that I liked more than that.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I'm going to see if I can get a 20.
I think the one I had was 23.
which is good.
Yeah,
It's
unfortunately,
very
I
good.
traded it away.
See, I'm getting that acetone.
Acetone.
I am. I'm getting acetone. It's that Brown Forman, dude. Brown Forman products, you do get a little bit of acetone. It's so strange. And it's not negative, though, because I get where if you say acetone, you think, oh, that sounds horrible.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's
Okay.
oddly not, you know?
Interesting. The palate didn't hit me as much as like the nose did. I love the nose, and then the palate. I don't know.
It's the proof, dude.
I don't know. It's not just about the proof. I think the flavors didn't hit as well as the nose did for some reason. Let me go back to this.
I can tell that that's a rye. That's
Yeah,
pretty
easy.
rye to me.
Yeah.
I do think that I like.
But both of these are more rye than this.
Oh my god, that smells like bread dough.
Oh, but you don't bread dough. You gotta do door knock, right? I gave you some of my door knock.
Mm-hmm.
That's actual bread dough.
Do you still have some in that glass?
Like very small amounts.
Smell mine. So we don't get bread dough on that.
Maybe a faint amount of it, but I mostly get sort of like a sweeter rye kind of thing.
It is very sweet. It is very, very sweet. And I like that. What did you say this is going for?
Crazy, though.
The 10? Yeah, the 10 has a really nice nose.
Yeah.
But I do think that the 25...
Secondary is like 250.
I think I might be leaning toward that.
Oh, yeah, over the 10?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The 10 has more of like a little bit of caramel. Obviously, the I get where you're saying where this is a little bit more complex. I get that. But just from an enjoyability standpoint, I think that the 25 is better for me.
Interesting.
Yeah. Might be proof, but I think that what this is doing, I prefer more than that.
Interesting. No, for me, it's clearly the 10-year. Like, it's just way more complex. It has dusty notes. It has like all these notes that like just are not available in those other two. For me,
If this was just a little higher proof.
yeah, I think it's that's why I didn't want to put it in a blind as well. But
Yeah.
yeah,
And I'm
probably
not,
we should have had this first, and then
yeah.
yeah.
And I'm not a proof hound at all, but it does pale in comparison, at least on the mouthfeel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I would get this. I would totally get that. For like a reasonable price, I would buy that.
Cool. I'll
Yeah.
keep an eye out for you.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, and thanks for joining me off. I do have a little bit left of the old one, so cheers to that.
Cheers.
You know, going back to this now, actually, like the heavy rye is kind of like enjoyable.
Clove and A1 steak sauce, dude. Oh my God.
It's very unique, you know.
It is. But how much did it change after you poured that 10-year?
Mm,
Like these two here.
yeah.
It's so fascinating for me how that happens in whiskey.
Yeah.
I mean, I know why it does that, but it's just, it's really cool that happens, you know?
Yeah. I told you, like, for me, like the first time I experienced this in a way that blew my mind is I tried the Lafroig 10.
Mm-hmm.
So first you start with these are my only two whiskeys that I would ever buy, right? It was for the longest time it was just Glenfiddich 12 or Glenlivet 12.
Oh, when you were getting into whiskey.
Yeah. So I would have the Glenlivet 12, and then I discovered Lafroig 10. So for a while I was just like into peated stuff. And then I realized if you start with Glenlivet 12, then go to Lafroig, and then go back to Glenlivet, the Glenlivet tastes like honey.
Mm-hmm.
It's like insane because
changes
like,
totally.
Completely changes. Yeah. So that's when I realized that you have to like, you know, really take into account what you've had and like figure out which ones go well together, because you can have like a hugely elevated experience by something so cheap just by mixing it with something else, you know, in between in your experience.
Dude, the tastings that I go to, the ones that James puts on, before they put on these tastings, I don't know if he does this all the time, but I do believe he does this most of the times. He'll line them up with like, you know, Stewart and people like that, and they will taste and they will actually literally calculate which one you think should come next, and they will do a whole calculated thing.
Nice.
Whereas this is how you should go. The third pour of the night last night was a cask strength. It was like 57 point something %. And then we went back to 43 because it just felt like this is what feels right now. Nice. You know what I mean? So yeah, like what you're saying, like start with this, but then you go back. Yeah, dude, it's such a roller coaster ride.
Crazy.
That's like with me, like when I started doing tastings, when you have like a row, like 3 or 4 whiskeys, I'll go through them. But I usually don't really give out notes because I know those are probably not the right notes until you start to go back and you taste, you know what I mean? So yeah, they're constantly changing. That's what I love about it.
Nice.